Hi, welcome to the Travel Agency in a Year podcast. My name is Rachel, and I'm going to be walking you through building a business that builds you up this year. My name is Rachel. Duh, I just said that. We are on day 7, and we're going to be talking about systems and consistency and how they sort of correlate with one another. If you don't have systems in place, you're not going to have consistency. And this is not only in how you serve your clients, but also how you need to be working on your business. Now, with that being said, this is going to kind of build upon yesterday's episode of discipline and motivation because part of being disciplined is having consistency in your systems. Even on the days where you're like, I really don't want to do this, you've got to be consistent, okay? And you've got to start small with your systems. It's a new year, and I'm going to relate this back to health and fitness goals because that's a huge thing most people I know have as a New Year's resolution. In one way or another, they're going to get better sleep, they're going to maybe lose weight, I don't know, increase their endurance, whatever, muscle mass, whatever their goal is. Almost everyone has a health and fitness goal. And there's two ways to achieve your health and fitness goals, and one of them does not work. And I'm relating it to building your travel agency because it is the foundation of the Success Circle and the Travel Agency in a Year podcast. So, way number 1, buy all the supplements, invest in all the workout courses, get you a gym membership, hire a personal trainer, have meal delivery services, deliver you keto friendly meals or whatever trending diet, carnivore, whatever. Buy yourself a whole new thing of workout clothes. Okay, so you get where I'm going with this. You spend all this money because people are telling you this is what you need to do, and don't worry, you'll get your results. And you're like, I'm going to get it results immediately. And you go all in with everything you've got. And then you just kind of peter out. You don't achieve the goal. And then in July or August, you're like, wait a minute, I'm still paying for this gym membership. What's going on? And your workout clothes, they're just like hanging on the Peloton that you ordered in your room and nothing is happening. This is so common. And when I worked as a personal trainer, I would see it all the time and I'd be like, slow your roll, man. You can't lose 20 pounds overnight. I mean, there are ways. There are ways. Depending on how much you weigh. There are ways, but it's not gonna work out well for you. And you're not even using any sort of discipline. You're just like, oh, all of these other things are gonna fix it for me instead of doing the work yourself. Okay. Option number 2 is before January 1st and you want to get a health or fitness goal, you kind of start looking around like, how is my life looking? How do I want this to be? Or maybe even after January 1st, you don't make yourself start this new program or whatever for your fitness goals January 1st. But how do I want my life to look? How do I want to feel? How do I want to look? All those things, the extrinsic and intrinsic motivators, right? And you build small steps. And you'll just say, okay, I'm going to cut out 1 can of Coca-Cola this week or whatever. That's going to save me a few calories. And I'm going to replace it with an extra 12 ounces of water or maybe 20 ounces of water. Small little baby sips. And once you get used to that, then you can add on another health or fitness thing. Like I'm going to walk an extra 15 minutes or I'm going to do 1 block around my neighborhood. If you have been completely sedentary, like 200 steps a day or something, which trust me, I've been there recently, um, then you can take small steps like that. And that is all the Travel Agency in a Year podcast and the Success Circle. That's why these are such long programs because you can't be enrolled in some 8-week program and go from making negative revenues after your expenses to hundreds of thousands of dollars a year or whatever your goal may be. Like it's highly unlikely that you will achieve that by doing some quick little course or doing some quick little training. Like you have got to do a lot of work on yourself and on your business, okay? And I'm not saying like shorter courses are bad by any means. Like, don't get me wrong on that. There are so many things out there that are helpful. I just want you to understand, like, when you invest in the like shorter term programs, you still are going to need about 6 to 12 months to start really seeing a difference in your business and actively implementing all of the things that are taught to you over and over and over again. It's not overnight. And I hear from so many people like, this course was such a waste of money. I didn't get my return on investment. Well, did you do all the work? Yes, I did everything. Okay. How long have you been doing this? 2 months. Okay. That is not how any of this works. And I'm not saying again, like, none of us can guarantee that you're going to make lots of money. Even you setting your own goals and your revenue goals, you can't really guarantee it. And that's uncertainty. That's a future episode. Uncertainty and doubt. What is the difference? So this whole thing builds upon every single episode, one upon the next. And you'll almost always hear me reference, like, remember that episode way back when? So you can start to implement tiny little systems. This was something I think I touched on this in another episode previously, but this was something that my father taught me when I was in my early 20s and I was starting my very first business. Are we still recording? 1 second. I think I am. Okay. Something's going on with my internet connection. Okay. So I think I was 22, maybe, when I was like, I'm going to start a business. And he told me, you have to write down all of your goals that you want to achieve from a year. Like, this is when he was like, you need to have a 3-year, 5-year, 10-year plan. And he's like, and then you've got to work backwards. And he said, and you have to know that your life may not go according to this plan, and that's okay too. But this will help you most likely achieve all the goals that you want to achieve. Okay. So I'm flipping my notebook around because no one's going to see me writing this down. So let's say you've got your 12-month goals established, right? And I mentioned this with the conversion rate. You need 4 bookings per month in the examples in previous episodes. So you have 12 months from now, you want to book 30 trips. And I'm just remembering numbers off the top of my head. So you're like, okay, I need 48 consultations. I need to average 4 consultations per month. And from there, like, you just break it down. So if you have 4 consultations per month, you're probably going to close 3 of them. And you should be pretty close to achieving or going over your goal of 30 trips booked for the next year. Not necessarily traveling this year. I had somebody reply to an email when I sent out a lead magnet about like setting your goals for the next year. And they're like, I already have so many trips booked for next year. And it's like, bitch, it's not it's not the trips you've booked. It's what you want to bring in for the future next year, right? Like, okay, get a clue. Anyway, so all right. So you have to kind of work backwards. And if you have 4 consultations a month, then your goal is to get 1 consultation a week. And then within the next week, how can you get that 1 consultation? It all depends on your business model and your marketing strategy. So it could be I need to post a little more on social media, or I need to have a stronger call to action in my email or on social media. Like, I am taking consultations, like I'm actively taking these calls. And I have openings right now. Okay. And if you have to have 4 consultations and you need to close 3 of them based on your conversion rate, these are all made up numbers, then you might want to post on social media, I have 6 openings available for the next week, because you want to give them some flexibility and maybe create more opportunity. But you're not like, I have all the time in the world and I'll just take your call whenever kind of mentality, but you're also not like super duper scarce. Okay. So working backwards, what can you do this next week? And then you can create to get that one consultation booked, that goal of one consultation. Then you can break it down day by day. When do you want that consultation to hit? Do you want it to hit Friday or Saturday? Some people work full-time jobs, they need a Saturday consultation, right? So that's no later than Saturday. What do you need to start doing now? Do you need to just email some people, email some past clients, email some friends who have like mentioned, hey, I want to take a trip, but they never really followed through? Calling people that you know, calling past clients, just whatever it takes to get that one consultation. And you're going to get a lot of no's, but every no is one step closer to a yes. All right. So that is kind of what I mean by working backwards from your goals and breaking it down. What do I need to do today? What 3 things do I need to do today to move the needle that much closer to achieving whatever my goals are? And it is, if you haven't figured it out, being a travel advisor is like so much marketing and sales. It's sales and marketing. It's not servicing like a ton. Like, yes, you do have to have good service, but it's not like a customer service based position. It is sales, marketing, close the sale, get it going. Come on. I mean, there are some agencies that are very like, go, 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 close all the things. So a lot of these like working backwards goals will be related to your marketing. You don't have to do social media marketing. It's all dependent on what your goals are, who your ICA is, all of that fun stuff we've covered in previous episodes. Now, again, we could take this to like your profit. What if you don't have a profit margin? I mentioned in other episodes, go pick up Profit First. You can have a 0% profit margin this week, right? You could be not making a profit. You could be operating at a loss right now, but you can move the needle. And he teaches you this because this is how you build a business. The author of Profit First is like, let's say your average profit margin in your industry is 16%. Okay. And you are operating at a loss. You don't even have a profit. Your goal for the first quarter is to have a 1% profit. That's it. And each quarter, you move that percentage up 1 to 2 percentage points until you hit your goal profit margin. And that's what we need to do. So when I did the research for Profit First, I came up with travel agencies having a 16% profit margin after all expenses. And I can't remember what I started with, but I could work like, okay, I'm at 1% or whatever, and I got to get to 16%. And if I move it up 2 percentage points per quarter, that's 9% after 1 year. And by the end of year 2, I will hit my goal profit margin. So it's definitely longer term. But for now, the next time I had a commission check come in, all I had to do was take 1% of the gross earnings and tuck it away. That's it. That's it. It's baby small steps. And I built that habit of putting that money away for profits and taxes and then payroll and operational expenses like software, things like that. So when you have all these awesome resources that are like, do this, do that, do this, do that, you need to take time to slowly implement these changes. If you try to do it all at once, you're going to get overwhelmed, especially during right now wave season, when you're getting a lot of travel requests and you're going to be like, what the heck? I have none of my automations up because I switched softwares like CRMs and I didn't get all my automations done and it's not going to be perfect. And that's okay. That's okay. Just do a little bit at a time. So that's just, this episode's just kind of, hopefully it's a little bit of motivation for you to keep doing what you're doing and don't give up on yourself because maybe you've got some setbacks or maybe you've been in for a few months and you're like, I'm just not seeing the sales coming in. Like, give yourself some time, and during that time, really focus on creating your systems in your marketing, in your finances, in your operations. Okay? All right. The next few episodes are going to be all about managing your schedule and time management techniques that you can take advantage of, whether you are working a full-time job and trying to leave that job so you can do this full-time, or maybe you're like a stay-at-home parent, and so you're juggling kids coming home from school in the afternoon, making dinner, making sure the house is like maintained, or maybe you have zero other obligations, but maybe you like live with parents or have roommates or some kind of weird situation like that where you're like, I need to change this. Um, we're going to talk about all the different options of how to set up your schedule. Have a good day, everybody.